Welcome to Homework Lib.
We are testing with a null hypothesis that the variance is 525 squared versus the alternative that the variance is less than 525 squared. We're testing at a significance level of 0.05, and the test statistic for this would be a chi-square test statistic, and that is calculated as n-1 times the sample variance over the hypothesized variance. Well, n in this case is 11 because there's 11 in the sample size. The sample variance has to be calculated, and well, let's see here. I'll just do this in the calculator. The sample variance I get is about 116,388.85. As now we're going to square that is s squared. Over 525 squared. Let me get that to two decimal places. And I get 4.22. And the critical value at a 0.05 level of significance is 3.94. That's from a chi-square table. And since our chi-square test statistic is greater than our chi-square critical value, that means we would reject the null hypothesis. Which means there's not enough evidence, not reject, I'm sorry, because this is less than, we would fail to reject the null hypothesis, because we would want to be less than 3.94. So again, this would mean that there's not enough evidence to conclude that the variance is less than 525 squared. Now, for parts B and C, I don't have access to that data to do comparisons, but what I can tell you for part B is that when you're going to compare the variances between the boys that we just did, but with the girls, and the alternative would be that they're different, so they're not equal to each other, and that would require computing the sample variance for of the boys and comparing it again with the girls, which again I don't have access to, but you're going to use the F statistic. And so you take the sample variance from the boys over the sample variance from the girls, and that will be your F statistic. And then you would compare it to the critical value there, but that would be an F. And what I can tell you for C, the mean equality test, you'd compare the means of boys and girls using a two-sample t-test, where the null hypothesis is that the mean of the boys is equal to the mean for the girls against the alternative that they are different, not equal. And the test statistic would be the difference between the sample means between the boys and the girls over the square root of the variance of the boys over the sample size of the boys plus the variance of the girls over the sample size for the girls, and you would compare that against the critical t value.